In 1637, a single flower in Dutch cities could fetch the price of a house. One farmer mortgaged his 8 pigs, 4 cows, 2 barrels of cheese, and a silver cup to purchase a contract for a tulip that would bloom in the future. Days later, the bubble burst, leaving both the farmer and the city speculators utterly ruined. All the greed and fear have faded into the river of history, but this first large-scale asset bubble in history, the Tulip Mania, has become a permanent lesson in economic and speculative history. 300 years later, in London, Europe's financial center, an artist and a group of fervent bidders planted a tulip called NFT on a plot of land named Speculation. This time, however, we bear witness as spectators to the birth, explosive rise, collapse, and reconstruction of this modern digital tulip. NFT, non-fungible token. The digital asset that once prompted tens of thousands to all in on blockchain wallets overnight has been hyped as digital ownership, the revolution of the creator economy, and the cornerstone of the metaverse. Yet it has also faced widespread criticism as a Ponzi scheme, empty hype, and worthless JPEGs. So why should we care about NFTs? Because they not only transform how art circulates and disrupt the commercial logic of creation and design, but also leverage a highly financialized approach to reshape how we perceive the entire new media art and cultural ecosystem. NFTs didn't appear out of thin air. Their origins trace back to CryptoKitties in 2017, a collection of digital pets built on the Ethereum blockchain. Players could breed, trade, and own these cats, each one a unique NFT. For the first time, blockchain technology was harnessed to emphasize digital scarcity. From 2018 to 2020, the NFT ecosystem gradually expanded. Art platforms like SuperRare, Foundation, and Rarible emerged, providing artists with a decentralized marketplace. Then, in 2021, Beeple's Everydays, the first 5,000 days, sold for $69 million at Christie's, officially propelling NFTs into the mainstream spotlight. This was more than an auction. It marked a shift in medium. The traditional art world first acknowledged the artistic value of pure digital files. NFTs went viral not because they solved any practical problem, but because they precisely captured humanity's imagination of rarity and overnight wealth. Back then, a pixelated avatar could fetch tens of thousands of dollars, with buyers often unconcerned about its intrinsic value, only whether it could be resold at a higher price. NFTs became tickets to a game of hot potato, projecting a certain identity symbol. Fear of missing out on the next viral sensation drove a frenzy of participation. Communities, key opinion leaders, and even mainstream media amplified this FOMO to extreme levels. Once project creators realized they could cash out without creativity, thousands of homogeneous, template-based, and even AI-generated NFTs were mass-produced. The market wasn't short of works. It was short of the last person willing to take the fall.
Today, we will take a look about one of the many NFT artworks. Every day, the first 5,000 days. Every day, the first 5,000 days is digital art pieces created by Mike Wickleman, also called Beeple. But it's more than that. It is a cultural symbol that defines an era. The core of this work lies in its creative process.
This is how I make money. This is my art. My art can be whatever it is because I do not need to worry about making money for that. And I feel like people don't value that enough. What ends up happening a lot of times is people will take jobs, maybe doing their art, but then those jobs are super demanding and they'll take all of their time.
With some of the images featuring figures from popular culture, including Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump, arranged in chronological order. Some of the early pictures were hand-drawn rather than computer-generated.
There's obviously the short term where each day you sit down and you make one finished piece, and that piece can completely stand on its own. But to me, the bigger project is this long-term everyday's project which is a project that I've been working on, every single day for over 12 years.
However, what made it explode globally in 2021 was its integrations with NFT technology. Crazy Tales Auction House sold it for a staggering $69.3 million. It profoundly reveals that in contemporary times, the value of artwork is no longer determined solely by its aesthetic content, but rather by the technological protocols, market consensus, and legendary narrative behind it.
Case 2. CryptoPunks. If Beeple's $69 million every days was the event that pushed NFTs into the global art spotlight, then CryptoPunks can be seen as the seed that started the entire NFT avatar culture. Released in 2017 by the software studio Larva Labs, CryptoPunks consisted of 10,000 uniquely generated pixel projects. Each punk was only 24 by 24 pixels, yet no two were exactly the same. Some had more cars, some were 3D glasses, even a few were aliens or zombies. At first, they were given away for free. Anyone with an Ethereum wallet could claim one. However, what was initially dismissed as tiny pixel doodles would later be resold for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. Why did this happen? The answer lies less in the images themselves, and more in the cultural logic of NFTs. CryptoPunks were among the first NFTs ever minted on Ethereum, making them historically scarce and therefore collectible. Just like tulip bulbs in the 17th century, their value derived not from utility or intrinsic beauty, but from the belief that someone else would pay more tomorrow. At the same time, CryptoPunks helped define an entirely new aesthetic of digital identity. Only one wasn't just holding a JPEG, it meant joining an exclusive community, signaling status online, and claiming a piece of crypto history. They became profile pictures for tech entrepreneurs, celebrities, and early crypto millionaires. In this sense, their cultural role is closer to luxurious brands than to traditional fine art. In short, CryptoPunks embody both the promise and pitfalls of NFTs. They pioneered digital scarcity, reshaped the meaning of ownership in online culture, but also exposed how quickly financial speculation can outpace artistic innovation.
What if I told you that NFTs didn't create a new kind of art, but a new kind of aura? The German thinker Walter Benjamin once said that a real work of art has a unique aura, its here and now presence, but mechanical reproduction like photography kill that aura. NFTs, ironically, are trying to bring it back. How? By using blockchain to create a certified original of a digital file that anyone can copy. Take Beeple's everydays, the image is free, but the blockchain token is multi-million-dollar assets. The aura is no longer in the object, but in the tech protocol. This connects perfectly to French philosopher Jean Baudrillard's theory of simulacra. We live in a world where signs and symbols are more real than reality itself. CryptoPunks are the perfect example. Their value isn't in their simple pixel art, but in what they symbolize. Being an early adopter, a status symbol, we are not buying art, we are buying a piece of a myth. From a media perspective, as Lev Manovich theorized, these projects are really just database. Beeple's work is a database of 5,000 days, and CryptoPunks is a database of 10,000 algorithmically generated images. So, what does this all mean? The conclusion is stark. NFTs don't restore art's authentic aura. they construct a perceived aura of the age of digital capitalism. The success of Beeple and CryptoPunks isn't a triumph of art, but an illusion crafted by technology, artificial scarcity, and market desire. In the end, art soul might be getting replaced by a blockchain signature.
So how do we see this works? When we look at the Beeple's Everydays or CryptoPunks collection, it's hard to deny their influence. On one level, they symbolize a breakthrough moment, the art world finally admitting that a digital file can hold the same kind of value as a painting or a sculpture. They also highlight how technology reshapes culture identity. Owning a CryptoPunk wasn't just buying an image. It was buying into a status symbol, a digital trip. At the same time, these works expose a deep paradox. Their cultural power comes less from artistic innovation and more from the financial system surrounding them. With other controversies, the debates around NFTs are intense. Supporters argue that NFTs gives artists new markets and democratize access to collectors, but critics see them as speculative access. Artificial scarcity dress up as culture. Many NFT projects recycle the same templates, relying on hype, influencer market, and community FOMO to drive prices. The energy consumption of blockchain network and the flood of low effort. Copycat projects only feel the backlash. For every groundbreaking piece, there were thousands of NFTs created purely to cash out quickly. This tension makes people question whether NFTs represent art at all or simply financial speculation. And what about the future? The direction is still unclear. Optimists believe NFTs could stabilize into practical tools, securing digital rights, founding creative communities, or even serving as a cultural passport in visual spaces. Pessimists predicted they would feel like Tulip Mania, remember more for speculation than art. What seems certain is that NFTs force us to ask hard questions. Is cultural value being defined by creativity or by capital? Can technology preserve art's meaning, or does it simply repackage it as another commodity? The answer will decide whether NFTs remain a short-lived bubble or become part of long-term story of new media art. Conclusion: in the end, NFTs are more than just digital files or financial tokens. They represent a clash between creativity, technology, and speculation. Whether we see them as revolution tools or as empty bubbles, they have forced us to rethink what art and ownership mean in the digital age. The real question is not simply whether NFTs will survive, but whether they can create lasting cultural value beyond hype. That uncertainty is what makes them both fascinating and troubling.